Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Now, some people say that if they had a better start in life, they wouldn't be in the financial state that they're in now. But if that's the case, how come people manage to build themselves up from practically nothing? Well, joining me on tonight's show is estate agent to the rich and famous Trevor Abrahmsohn, and also successful businesswoman Caroline Masvongo. No, Masvongo, got it right, yeah. To tell you their take on this and also to share their personal stories. And also, it's Monday today, isn't it? Is it Monday? Thank you, I always get my days wrong. And that means we have our self-development clinic with Chris Browne a bit later on. But first of all, let's speak to Bianca, who's Lizzie. I'm getting everyone's names wrong today.
Bianca.
Sorry, because Bianca's on Wednesday. We've got Liz, and you've got some good news to share with us, haven't you?
Yes, hi, good evening, Chris.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone. So,
what's the good news that everyone's been waiting for today?
I have very good news. It just came in while I was getting my makeup done, so I was a bit excited. I had to Google just to see.
I don't think our guests know tonight yet.
They don't know?
Boy or girl, guys?
Boy.
So,
you know what we're talking about, don't you?
yeah, so Duchess Kate had her baby. She had a baby boy.
Yay, congratulations!
At 4'24". I know, it's so cute. And he was a big boy, 8 pounds, 6 ounces.
Wow.
So well done, Kate. I love her so much. I'm so happy that she's fine, baby's fine.
Now, we were having a little debate about this before, weren't we, Lizzie?
Yes.
Because I happen to, I'm being honest here, I happen to think that all babies are quite ugly when they're first born. And actually, there was a little bit of a study done with some parents, and apparently 1/5 of them actually do think that when their babies are born, they're really ugly. So I don't know what you think. But what about you? Did you think Michaela was ugly when she was first born? Don't worry, I won't play this back to her later on in life.
Complexes. No, you know.
Be honest, Lizzie, come on.
So it wasn't, it's really strange to see, you know, like it's hard to explain, but when you see a baby at first, sometimes you see them on TV and it's not really how it is, because they come with like bruises and, you know, like their skin, because they've been obviously in the water thing, it's a bit flaky. So it's really different look, and the colour is not a normal colour of any person. So I know for me, honestly, when I first saw my daughter, I was like, oh my goodness. Even me and my husband, we were shocked because she even had like a very big bruise on her nose. So her nose was like from her eyebrows to here, like a lumpy thing. So it wasn't like, you know, you see them all cleaned and cute and think it was messy. But the night after, she had a little rash, she calmed down a bit. The skin got nice.
But I still think
cute.
Newborn ones, I don't find them. I think they're cute when they're sort of like toddler. I'm sorry if I offended anyone, by the way, but I think they're just cute when they're toddlers and stuff, really.
Yeah.
But the really tiny babies, I don't know. They just look all squashed up and
When
stuff.
they're first born.
But I'm sure Kate's baby's gorgeous.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll get to see some pictures soon.
I know, I want to know his name. Very cute.
Yeah, that one we're waiting for. Any guesses? What do you think?
I don't know, probably something normal, George and James. And, yeah, nothing
Charles.
out there. Charles. No,
probably.
not Charles. George and James and these kind of names, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
All right, tell us the rest of the news.
Okay, so also there was a guy, his name was Steve Soul. He tried his luck at employment by putting himself on eBay to bid for his work, because actually he's a professional. He's a qualified estate agent and a qualified electrical engineer. So he wasn't getting any work, of course, employment, all the problems that happen in the UK at the moment. So what he tried to do is put his work and availability on eBay, starting at 99p.
Oh, bless him.
Do you think he got any bids?
I reckon he would have done.
No. Poor guy, no. He's 58. He didn't get any bids. No.
Age doesn't matter.
I know, I'm just saying. He was trying. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
like, he was trying, 58, you know, trying to do something.
Because I would prefer to go to a 58-year-old estate agent, because they've got a lot of knowledge and like they know the business and everything. Maybe our estate agent.
The thing is, they said he's an estate agent and an electrical engineer. So I was thinking, when I read it, I was like, what's that saying? Jack of all trades, master of none.
Don't start with getting all your words mixed up.
You know that they say like maybe he's not so good at things. I don't know. So
well,
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
good on him for trying something different. Because I'm sure he's got some attention now that he's been in the news.
Yeah.
So maybe he's got a job by now. Hopefully.
Yeah, he's winning. So
yeah,
we hope we get a job soon, Steve. Also, there's something that happened. Actually, it's related to another baby. I've got a few baby articles today. I don't know why. Just so happened. They're in the news at the moment. So there was a couple, they found a baby and it was left outside their house in a carrier bag.
Yeah,
and do you remember that?
Yeah, that was on the news, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was on the news as well. And basically it's about just after 4 a.m. in the morning, and this family, husband and wife, they heard their doorbell ringing, and it was continuously ringing. They when they opened the door, no one was there, just a baby in a carrier bag.
God, imagine finding that on your doorstep.
Is there a picture of him? Oh, he's so cute.
All right, no, okay, he's all right.
See, Chris, there we go.
He's not too bad. He's a bit cute.
He's very cute, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they called him anyway Joseph, and just at the moment, I don't know if they found them yet, but the police and the health professionals
looking for her, aren't they?
Looking for the mum, because
she must be in a state.
He wasn't born in hospital. It was like a delivery outside of medical care. Like they found the umbilical cord severed and things like that. So she done it herself. So obviously they're worried about her well-being as well, because now the baby's fine. They called him Joseph. So he's doing well. They're just looking for the mum. So
God, imagine, what would you do if you just found a baby in your doorstep?
Well, I'd keep him.
You probably would. You're not supposed to do that, Lizzie.
Well, I didn't know about the
I found kittens on not on my doorstep, but people used to, I said this last week, people used to dump them in my front garden when I was small with my parents, because we had these big sort of plants and stuff. And back then there were a lot of like kittens everywhere. I don't know if you remember, like in the 80s, there just used to be kittens everywhere. Well, in my neighbourhood anyway. And they used to dump them in the front garden, and we used to have kittens all the time. Yeah. So sweet. Aww. But not a baby. Please don't dump a baby on my doorstep. No, yeah.
Actually, this one's a cat, Chris.
Oh, nice.
There was a cat named Captain Buxton. He went to sea in a small boat with his
Are you serious?
Mum, Dad. I'm telling you, this is serious. His name's Captain Buxton. They woke up, they're in the middle of the sea, and the cat had gone. Imagine. I'm serious.
What do you mean he'd gone?
He wasn't on the boat. They were looking for him. They were calling his name.
Oh,
not on the boat.
Bird. Do you know what? Cats are a bit crazy, because my friend's got this cat. You know, Kiko.
Yeah, I know Kiko. Oh,
he saw a bird and he actually jumped off the balcony after the bird, and then he had a really bad accident. His tooth came out, and like he almost died, because cats will not. They don't care if they see a bird or something flying. They will jump. They don't sort of think of the consequences. So yeah, they don't even know what happened. He went away in his little boat.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's very cute. Is there a picture of him as well? He's a cute cat.
Before?
There he is. So he's called Captain Buxton. But the owners are really, they really believe they're going to find him. Look at him, so cute. So he was used to the sea, you know. Look. He's cute, isn't he?
Oh, bless him. He's probably out at sea somewhere lost.
So hopefully they find him. That's quite sad.
I hope so.
Okay, so I was talking to a friend about this the other day. They did a report, and apparently 1 in 5 people say that a tea round in their workplace causes a row at least every week. Like, you know, when you work in an office and people say, oh, can you make the tea? Apparently, like, now it's starting to, like, they have rows and fights over whose turn it is, and it's causing some uproar in workplaces.
Oh, that's a bit silly.
What do you think about that?
Well, actually, I used to have a really nice, because I worked in this company before, and like, I had a really nice boss. So it was fine for me to make him cups of tea. I used to make him cups of tea before he got in. He used to be waiting on his desk.
Oh,
nice. But he used to do the same for me. Like, whoever got in first, we used to make each other cups of tea. And then he moved somewhere else. And I moved, sorry. And then I went to this other place, and this guy was horrible. This boss of mine, he was really horrible. And I had no pleasure whatsoever making him cups of tea. But he just used to hold out his mug like this. He'd be working, he'd just go, Chris. And he would just expect me to make a cup of tea.
Put some salt in it.
Yeah. So I think it depends. But I think, you know, what's the harm in making some tea for people? It's not a thing to argue over, is it?
No, I think what it is sometimes, you know, younger ones, they usually end up doing that, like being it depends. If it's like a fair round, then it's fine. But sometimes the younger ones, or those who they think they're less busy, they're always the one to go. But I don't see it a problem as well. I like doing stuff like that as well. But apparently it's causing rows in work.
Oh, that's silly.
Yeah, bit sad, isn't it?
Just a bit stressed.
Yeah, too much work. And lastly, story. This is about another baby. Oh. I don't know what you're going to think about this.
Fed up with the baby stories now.
I know. I'm joking. I don't know. There was a lot of baby stories in the news. Anyway, well, this is more to do with the mum. There was a mum. Her name's, it's hard to pronounce, Imajika Gilroy. And she was at a pool with her baby boy. He's 9 months old. And he needed feeding, so she decided to breastfeed her child. And then the workers there came to over to her at the pool and said, oh, look, you can't do that here. And, you know, told her she has to stop feeding her son. And I know what you're going to say. What do you think about that? Because I think we're going to think differently, I'm sure.
I don't want to get any angry callers calling me to say I'm so really normal. I don't know, I just think some people are uncomfortable with it. It depends how the lady's doing it, because if, for example, she just gets everything out in front of everyone, I think that can make people uncomfortable. I think that would make me uncomfortable. But if it's sort of discreetly and covered up or something like that, that's different, I think.
Yeah.
Because not everyone's used to babies and seeing that kind of thing. Even though it's very natural, obviously, but I think there's some places that I don't think you should.
I don't think she would be doing it in an indiscreet way. I mean, she was at a pool. It would probably be quite easy to breastfeed at a pool because you're just wearing your costume. So I don't know, if the baby's, you know, wants feeding, I think that she should have the right to feed the baby.
Yeah, but discreetly.
Yeah, I think she was. I don't think they had the right to tell her to not feed him.
Or did they offer, unless they offered, for example, an alternative place for her to feed him, because they should have a place, really.
Yeah, well, it didn't say that they did.
Where they've got lots of
I don't think she was sitting at the end of the pool, like dangling her feet, you know, with the baby. I think she was, you know, in the most comfortable place she could be. But, you know, the thing is, I think sometimes when you don't have children, you don't understand. When a baby wants feeding, there's no like shortcut around it. You need to do it wherever you are. So some people, they get offended by it, but at the end of the day, it's the child that needs feeding. I remember once when Michaela was a baby, I had just made her bottle. She was bottle fed, but she was screaming. You know, when you're in a store and you hear a lot of noise and it's just loud, baby screaming, it can be quite irritating. I know it irritates people. And her bottle was boiling. I said, oh, what am I going to do? And I was going around Tesco, I was trying to do some things.
Oh, you didn't?
So, no, I had to put it in the freezer. I went to the freezer part, and I was rocking her in her pushchair, and I had the milk bottle in the freezer, waiting for it to cool down quickly. Because you have to, like, you know, they don't know.
I thought you were going to say that.
No.
Spending Tesco. Anyway, we're going to go to a break right now. Thank you so much, Lizzie, for all the interesting news.
Okay.
And then after the break, we're going to speak to our two very successful people that made it really well for themselves. And they're going to be telling us their personal stories, their struggles as well, and how they're doing today. So do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show. Always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back, and we're speaking today about rags to riches stories, actually. But we've got, first of all, with us Caroline Masvongo. Gorgeous name.
Oh, thank you, Chrissy.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
And we also have Trevor Abrahmsohn. How are you doing, Trevor?
Good evening.
Thank you so much for joining us both. You've both got a really inspiring story. So I'd like to start off, ladies first, Trevor, if you don't mind.
Why not?
I'll start off with Caroline first. So where are you originally from, Caroline?
I'm originally from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
The wealthiest country in the whole world, of course.
But how was life for you growing up, though?
Interestingly, I had a very good life growing up in Zimbabwe and a very happy childhood. Fortunate that never experienced some of the problems as it is now.
Right, okay. So what were your dreams like growing up, and what did you want to be when you grew up? Did you always know what you wanted, or was it something that sort of
It's interesting.
came after?
I had very amazing parents. They always encouraged me. They always found out what I was good at. It came to a point where my father used to say I was good at everything. So there was a time where
That's
I was
nice.
really confused.
Yeah.
So I would join the netball team, swimming team, tennis team, drama team, and I was doing everything.
Yeah.
So, but then I had
What was
to
your
ask
passion,
myself-
though? Did you have like something that you
My
really loved
passion
doing?
was dance. Dance. I
Dancing.
really loved dancing, and at some point I had a perm with curls, and I used to be little Michael Jackson. And used to do performances as Wacko for the family. So
Oh, that's
so
nice.
really good.
So how did you get into the businesses that you're doing now? Where did it all start?
Where it all started was came 12 years ago to United Kingdom, was married, and things were going well, so we thought, oh, we can afford a plane ticket, so let's go to the greener pastures, as they say.
What was your first impression when you came away?
It was, the first thing I remember was the graffiti just off King's Cross. And I said, what?
Oh, that's nice.
Because I always had, when I had friends, our neighbours were from Scotland, the Wigmores, I remember them, and they used to tell me, they used to visit their grandparents and come back with stories, about United Kingdom, and I used to say, oh, I would love to go there. And so I had this, what I read in the fairy tales in the books. I thought that's what it was like. I thought everyone lived in a castle. So I thought, where's the graffiti coming from?
Oh, so it was a bit of a shock when you first came. So how did things develop from there for you?
From there, unfortunately, I had a very acrimonious divorce. So that's where the rags story started. I was homeless after the divorce, and it was what I didn't expect at all.
Gosh.
And I remember the time, because I had nowhere to go. I didn't know anyone apart from my husband at the time. And the police came and said, well, Caroline, in this country, how it works is if a marriage breaks down, we have to maintain the peace, so we have to take somebody out. So I was really confused, and I said, you can't do that. I have to go back in. And they said, have you got any friends? I said, no, the only friend I had was my ex. Yeah. And they said, actually, we have to remove you. I thought it was a joke, Chrissy. And I thought, I can't believe this. And they said,
but did they offer you any support, though? Or did they just say you had to leave?
They said the night they took me from the matrimonial home, and because I was the sort of person who doesn't hold on to things. So when things were not working out, I just said, okay, I'm leaving everything. So it was more of, there was resentment, but I said, okay, I'll start afresh, have everything. So I gave him the smoothest divorce ever. I said, you can have my clothes even if you want.
Did you ever regret that, or did you wish that you
no, because 10 years later, I am really glad that I did that, because I sort of got better, like 1,000 times more.
How did you end up homeless then? And was there nowhere for you to? You didn't have friends.
I didn't have anyone, because it was more. We married very young. We were childhood sweethearts. I grew up in the same church and stuff, and so it was more of a fairy tale. That's what I had at the time. That okay, and they lived happily ever after. So
I wasn't in the UK. Oh, bless.
So this was a shock, and I hadn't prepared for that. And when the police said to me, okay, if you don't know anyone, the only place we have a bed is one of the cells.
You're joking.
And I remember it was 10 p.m. on the 20th of April, 2003. And they said, we'll sort you out in the morning. We can't. And they said, there are procedures, but we'll look at your case in the morning. But you have to come into the cells, or you on the streets.
How did you feel at that point when
it was? I say to them, you know what? Just put me on the plane back to Zimbabwe, and I can be with my family. And it was more like a joke, because everything else, there are procedures, there's a process for everything. And they said, well, we can't just put you on the plane because you are legal. You've got a permit to be here, so we can't deport you.
So they can't even pay for the...
So they can't deport me. They couldn't do anything with me. And speaking to immigration, they said, we've looked everywhere in our books. You don't fall under any particular category. We don't know what to do with you. Oh, and it was a shock to the system. I was quite suicidal. And I was angry to be alive. So every day I woke up, I was saying, oh God, why did you make me see this day? Because I couldn't cope, and didn't want to see the next day, didn't know what was happening the next.
So how did things change for you?
Oh, drastically. It's interesting that I believe in fate. I'm very spiritual as well. So my prayers, I would say, okay, if I can't die, I have to have a reason to live. And it was more of just being in the right place at the right time. I was taken to a women's home after the police cell, and they said, well, that's where you'll be. And then from there, building myself up, I lost quite a lot of weight. I dropped from a size 10 to a size 6.
Oh gosh.
couldn't eat well. It was really terrible. And I was just meeting people, and from there, through counseling, from depression, overcame that. And just meeting people, I then found a will to live. And the counselor said, well, what's Caroline about? Forget what's happened in the past. What do you love doing? And I said, well, I've always loved the dancing, so the things from the childhood came back.
Okay.
And as I started doing those things, doors were just opening. I met Charlie Anderson from the Selector, the group from the 70s from Coventry. And he said, you're an amazing singer and dancer. Why don't you come and join us? So just like that. And I thought, wow, now I have a reason to leave.
So what do you actually do with your business-wise now?
With Charlie being a legend, a legendary band, and Carlos Garnett, who taught Miles Davis how to play his instrument, I was meeting people, and places like the BBC was just like a home.
Yeah.
So from there, I got opportunities, and Charlie said to me, Caroline, do you know you could actually start your own business? Introduction, you've got a great personality, and now you are alive again. You work on your gifts. And I never thought I could do that. So I said, what, just networking and doing introductions? So from there, I started doing celebrity events, organizing, and meeting more and more people. And I've been
happy today?
Very. I'm very blessed and grateful that I'm in the right place.
See, that shows that, you know, I mean, what happened to you was awful. And like, it was say you even said you were suicidal as well. And there are people that when they lose everything, they do commit suicide. They do. They can't. They think there's no light at the end of the tunnel. But you've proven to everyone that you can make it.
That's right.
And that you don't. You know, in that like at that particular time, you do feel like there's no point in living. That there's nothing for you. But then, you know, I always say to people, don't do anything drastic, because like tomorrow, you never know what's going to happen the next week, do you?
That's
so
right.
you just have to keep going. But thank you so much for sharing your story. You're going to stay with us, because after the break, we're going to be speaking to Trevor. Aren't we, Trevor?
Yeah.
Now, you've got your own story as well to tell us, because you're very successful today. So you'll be telling our viewers also your secrets, some of the secrets. And also inspiring our viewers, hopefully. So do join us after this. And if you want to get in touch at any point during the show, you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv if you want to ask a question, or you can even give us a call if you'd like on 020 7686 6300. Join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. We've spoken to Caroline about what she's achieved, but also we're going to speak to Trevor now, who's an estate agent to the rich and famous. Aren't you?
So
how's that then? How's that going?
It goes up and down like Tower Bridge. It's an interesting business. Oddly enough, I think I'm more interested in the people that I sell properties for than I am about the properties that they sell.
Why is that then?
Because I deal with a lot of interesting people. And after all, I'm in the information business. I sell information, that someone wants to buy something and someone wants to sell something. So I'm closer to, you know, a dating agency, let's say, than I am to the property field. But as it happens, at Glentree International, we sell some of the most expensive homes in the world, but from London.
Like Bishop's Avenue as well.
Just like Bishop's Avenue.
Just like, I love that road. You just go past and you think, wow, look at that house.
Well, you know something, oddly enough, some of these people that live in these extraordinary houses don't always have such enjoyable lives. They have a lot of tragedy in their lives as well.
Really?
So it's not all parties every night, actually. And you see it,
I can
of course.
imagine. I can imagine. So how
Because
did
you get called in to sell these, you know, usually,
Yeah.
you know, and invariably it's because of a matrimonial breakup, etc., etc.
Right. Okay. How did you start off, Trevor, in life? How was it for you growing up?
I was actually born in South Africa originally, and my parents very courageously made a decision to give up their middle-class lifestyle and come here. and it was a very brave move because they started with absolutely nothing. I was bathed with love by them and had a wonderful support system. I think Caroline was talking about that. I actually wanted to be a dentist. My late dad was a dentist, my brother's a dentist, so I come from a medical world. And I went to Guy's Hospital and I studied there, and I just wanted to get out into the commercial world. But as it happens, I started in '74, October '74, which was the worst month of the worst post-war year you could have ever started in commerce, which I didn't realize at the time. But I was released. I was released, and I was doing well in dentistry, and I was a student representative of the year, so there was no reason to leave. But I just had to get out there, and I've never looked back.
Okay. So how did you actually start your business then?
Actually, it was purely by accident. My lifelong friend lived next door, and his father was in estate agency, so I was a free spirit. I thought, why not? You know, oddly enough.
You see where this why not got him? Shall I show you a few of these properties, because they're just amazing. I mean, I was looking at the brochures, and if we can get some close-ups here, let's have a look at some of them.
Well, these are examples of properties which sell for something like 20 to 25 million pounds, which is something that we do on a regular basis.
These are amazing. So you thought, why not? And then you just got into it.
So I started, and basically, it was the most terrible time, and an entrepreneur approached me. We started a business together. We had bright green livery.
Don't take the camera off.
And we called ourselves Glentree, and all the other estate agencies at the time were sort of old-fashioned series of names. That was, we were pioneers in our time of modern estate agency. That's how it all started. And there was nothing like like Glentree in 1976. And over time, and the company was floated in '86. It was, a huge success.
How did that feel for you?
Well, it was surreal. Actually, I never suddenly your shares are worth very little, and then they're worth a great deal. And I always built a glass pane between myself and whatever monetary power I had. And that's a good thing, because I realized you could never touch it. And as such, it turned to dust in the end. So it was a good thing. It never affected my life. Correction, I didn't allow it to affect my life, whereas other people, my peers in the industry, were floating, and they were driving Rolls Royces and chauffeurs and everything. So nothing changed in my life. And that's a good thing. I didn't change my values. I didn't change what I did. I don't know if I had some premonition that maybe it would turn to dust. But I went through some very difficult times for 5 years. I lost my dad, I lost my nephew, both from leukemia, within 2 years of each other. And my business had struggled. This was the public company, in common with most other property companies at the time, in the 1990. And in fact, that recession was worse than the 2008 crash. And so it was awful times. I was angry. I felt very hard done by. Although I'm a self-made man, I couldn't see why I deserved this fate. But as with Caroline, I dusted myself off, I picked myself up, and I started all over again. I had to reinvent myself, I had to energize myself, and it's bloody difficult. You know, if you are, you just don't feel inspired. You feel depressed. You feel that life owes you a living, and you're not in the mood. You do the greatest things if you're excited and energized, etc. But you're not in that frame of mind. Yet you still have to reinvent yourself, and I did, and I've never looked back.
It must have taken a lot of courage to do that.
Well, I had a wonderful wife. I've still got a wonderful wife.
You want to blow her a kiss on TV? Oh, I missed it. Do it again, Trevor. There's the camera. Oh, so cute. I hope she's watching.
Her name's Lisa, and I have two gorgeous kids, Olivia and Lauren. and a mother that would die for me. So I have got a great support group and a loving family, and I think that is one of the reasons why I managed to, pick myself up, because I think if I didn't have that, I'm not sure I could have.
Now, something I like about, because I haven't known you for long, we met in an agreement earlier, you're very down to earth, and I think that's lovely, because sometimes some people that get really, really successful, they sort of get a bit big-headed and stuff, but how do you keep yourself so grounded?
Well, it's terribly simple. I fear materialism. I think that although materialism opens doors, buys you freedom and all sorts of things, it also destroys. Invariably, most family breakups are to do with finances are somewhere at the bottom of it. So I fear materialism, and I treat it with the greatest respect. And I think that grounding process I've learnt from my parents, who are very grounded, and I'm delighted to say that my kids, despite having had, I suppose, a reasonably privileged background, are very down to earth.
That's brilliant.
They're good people, and that is my wealth, and my wife's wealth.
That's lovely. I think that's so important, because it's true, because you have, let's say, some people are so obsessed with the material things, with the money, that if they lose it, it's like they don't want to go on anymore, and they make that their everything.
I do inspirational speaking, and I tell people that never forget where you're going. You should never lose sight of your objective, yes? You should never lose sight of where you've come from. But most important, stop to take in the scene. Savor the view. Enjoy the moment. And then carry on climbing. I think people that have their head down and climb all their lives, yes, they may make a great financial success, but they never enjoy the moment. They're too busy climbing. And I think you need to look at where you come from, look where you're going to, but take the scene in.
That's lovely. And Trevor, just if you'd like to give a few words to our viewers, for people that are feeling very discouraged at the moment, because there are people, you were fortunate enough to have a wonderful family behind you and everything, but there are people that it's like they feel like they're on their own, and they feel like there's no one there for them, that there's no point in trying because they don't have maybe that support. But I always say to people, it might not necessarily be family that are there to support you, but there are other people that can help you and can support you. For example, we on this show, the whole point of this show is to inspire people, to help people. So if you're in trouble, if you're not feeling very motivated, you can always email us as well. But Trevor, what do you have to say to people maybe that are feeling a bit discouraged, that are like, oh, you know what, it's not worth it?
Well, I'll tell you, the first thing is don't lie in bed and feel sorry for yourself. And if you do that momentarily, just while you rest and recuperate. But get out there and fight, because it's fighting that's going to get you somewhere. I talk through metaphors, so I would say to people, well, if I were stranded on a desert island, would I sit in the middle of the jungle there, feeling sorry for myself, saying, if I'm praying to God? Well, that's fine and dandy, but I'd rather light a fire in a clearing and give myself half a chance to be
So even God needs something to work with, right?
You need to get up there, you need to fight, you need to get out there and try and improve your lot. And if that fails, start and do something else. Keep knocking on those doors, because one door will open when you least expect it.
It's true. Because sometimes people look at a successful person and think, wow, they've made it. I can never do what they've done. I can never be up there where they are. But they have no idea what's gone on and how they got there. They have no idea of all the knockbacks they had and the failures that they had. But they picked themselves up and they kept fighting.
When you feel sorry for yourself, think about the man with tin legs who climbed Mount Annapurna. You are limited by your own imagination. And people, they need to believe in themselves, but they've got to keep trying. And people say, well, I've tried my best. But if you haven't broken through, you've done nothing. So don't take the credit for trying. Get there, open that door, and move on with your life. And I would say that to people, and there is a balance between giving people compassion but not stifling their ability to help themselves. And I think you can help yourself. if you try.
Thank you so much, Trevor, for those inspiring words. Thank you, Caroline, for sharing your story again. It was great, and I really hope you were able to get something from my guests tonight. I did, definitely, and I'm sure you did as well. And if you want more information about them, everything will be up on our website, chrissybshow.tv. And as we said, if you need some support or a point in the right direction, you can also email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. Thank you so much. I don't want to leave it there, but we've run out of time, and after the break, we're going to be speaking to Chris Browne in the Self-Development Clinic. So join us then.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Well, now it's time for the Self-Development Clinic with Chris Browne. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Chrissy. How's it going?
Very well. How are you?
Yeah, very well,
I've been
thank you.
very inspired after speaking to our two guests, after the first guest.
Oh, very inspired. I was sitting over there thinking, I want to buy one of those houses and I can come and sell mine as well, okay? Right? Okay. Now, I actually thought it was brilliant because what I was going to be talking about today was making decisions. And a lot of people go through life sometimes fearful of making decisions, and sometimes being pushed to make decisions. Listening over there to what Caroline Trevor was saying, I could see in the way that they had to make a decision, and their decision paid off. Now, many times in life, I'm going to touch on many areas of making a decision. One particularly, many times in life, people are afraid of actually taking that responsibility and making a decision. So one of the areas we're going to talk about is the power of decision. Now, it's funny, it's been often mentioned many times, like where that came from, and it came from Latin word of caedere, which is to cut off, cut and day, right? So cut off and actually go ahead and make that decision. Now, that's a hard thing to do. To make that decision, you're either going to take the decision in your hand and you're going to embrace that power, or you just let life take over and do which it wants to do with you. Now,
which is also a decision, like deciding not to do anything.
Well, a decision of not deciding. But what we've got to work out is which is the effective one. Which is going to take us to where we want to go, and which is just lying there. Well, I think doing nothing
just makes things worse.
Well, exactly. I mean, you think about it. If we just sat here and we decided we're not going to do anything, well, one, my hair will grow, right? My beard will grow,
his head's not
right?
Like this, as we said before.
Yes, we said it. Yes, I shave this every day.
Sorry, I
right.
I really want to see you with hair one day.
Oh, I think you had that picture last time, didn't you?
Yeah, but you know, but the up-to-date one, not the 70s.
Oh, the up-to-date one. Oh, the 70s.
Oh, sorry, let's not get off the point. Sorry,
but
go on.
That was making a decision, going back to the point. I made a decision to shave my hair off. Yes. Okay? Right. So anyway, going back to point 2, life-changing decisions. Now, I jotted down a few things here. And one of the areas is we've actually got to take on board what we actually want to do. We've got to work out exactly. Sometimes it might be your health. We make a decision. Something goes wrong, let's say heart attack, so you make a decision. You're in the gym all the time after you made a decision. You've been pushed into that decision. It would have been better if you actually made that decision before something actually happens. Now, we could talk about making a decision with family and friends. Not only family and friends, we're talking about our finances as well. We sit there, we've got the bills coming in, and I've been in a situation where I've seen before, and I've coached people before, where you just leave them, put them behind. They'll disappear. They'll disappear sooner or later. It gets worse. You have to make a decision. Open them up. Start doing things. Be proactive in what you're doing. Take hold of your life and make that decision at the end of the day. Right, let's talk about the whole idea of procrastination. I mean, that's another area where we tend to lack in taking hold of our lives. We've got something to do today, and we say, well, we'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, you do it the day after. Oh, tomorrow comes, that can be pushed behind. So we've got to actually time manage as well as prioritize in what we got to do and take an action to put things in order. Goes back to the same thing I'm going to say, making a decision, right? I'm sure we were just talking about all the successes, and if we actually sat around the table now and talked about it, I'm sure they can each remember when that point came when you actually made a decision. Would I be right in saying that? Yes? Right? The point came where you actually made that decision. Either life pushed you or you pushed on life instead. It's one way or the other, right? Now, going back from there, I'm going to say this. Most people actually watching right now, you've got an area where you've actually got to make a decision. Now, I'd say this, and I always say this all the time, make a commitment. Make a decision tonight, whichever area it is, whether it's your home, your family, your finances, your health, your job situation as well. It could be your promotion, afraid to actually ask in any kind of way. Make a decision, make a commitment tonight to something that you are going to do that's going to make a change in your life at the end of the day. Now, the last one there is this. You do that, and I'm going to say, you deserve to give yourself a pat on the back, a clap, because you've made a commitment, you've done it, and I'll say good for you. Good for you at the end of the day. Now, we could sit here, and we could all sit here and watch, and then after that was great. We talked about it, and that was brilliant.
It's very easy to talk, isn't it?
It's so easy at the end of the day,
when
but to actually put it into action and do
Yeah.
something with it. So overall, what I'm saying is, make a decision. I'll repeat it over time. Drum that straight through. Make that decision.
I don't think sometimes that we realise the power that we have inside of us. I know sometimes, and I think sometimes people go a lot by what they feel. They don't feel like doing this today. They don't feel like making a decision. They don't feel like, and we get overrun by emotions sometimes, but you have to do things regardless of what you feel. Even if you don't, I mean, who feels like waking up early in the morning and going to work, for example? No one does, but we do it because we have to.
Right.
And I think that could be applied as well to things that, you know, you need to get on with in life. You don't feel like maybe getting up in the morning because something bad's happened to you, or you've got issues from the past, but you do it anyway because you know that's the only way that you're going to be able to move yourself forward.
That's it.
And we all go through hard knocks in life.
We all do.
We all do,
We
yeah.
all do at one point or another, but it's the one that you get knocked down and you get back up, making that decision. I'm going to keep repeating that word over time so it goes through, making that decision, taking hold of your life and saying, well, look, all right, I've got knocked down. But when you get knocked down, you know the great thing about it is you're being kind of refined. You're actually learning how to deal with things. You're getting better experience. And anybody else who walks through that path, you can actually mentor them through it as well,
it's true.
and
You can
take them
help others,
closer.
it's true.
So there's a lot of success in that at the end of the day.
Definitely.
Make a decision.
Thank you. And if you guys need any help at home, please do email us. If you're going through something, you need sort of an extra push, you need some motivation, do email the show, chris@chrissybshow.tv. We've reached the end, Chris.
We've reached the end, and what I like to say,
The end of the show, that is, right?
We're
We're not going anywhere, right? Well, not that we know of anyway, but you never know.
Just want to give a little shout to all those in the East Ham Chelsea who's in a coaching course today, working today,
lovely.
and say very well and make that decision yourselves as well.
Definitely.
Okay?
Hi,
Right.
everyone. Don't know their names, do you?
Each and every one, it'll be
Oh, you
quite
do?
a lot of them, quite a lot of them, but they know what we're talking about.
Okay, so on Wednesday as well, we're going to be speaking about grabbing opportunities, and it's actually called What's the Harm in Trying? So we're going to be having an X Factor contestant coming on. He's going to be singing as well. That's Nicholas. And also, I forgot his surname. That's terrible.
No, we see him.
Dorset, Nicholas Dorset, that's it. Someone told me that. And also, do you remember those lovely Zimmers that were on Britain's Got Talent? They were finalists. Do you remember them?
I do.
Yeah?
I do.
And they were sort of singing really sort of sweet and then just broke into rapping. They're going to be on as well. They're also going to be performing for us. So that should be a really interesting show. Almost. I'm really looking forward to that one. But also, they're all going to prove that, you know, it's never too late to try. Never too late to try new things and go for opportunities. And they're going to be telling us all about that on Wednesday. So do join us then. Bye-bye for now.
I don't want to go home on my own, you know. I don't want to go home on my own. Why should I?
I don't know.
I don't want to go home on my own.
Well, I'm sorry you don't appreciate it. I mean, it's nothing to do with me. It's none of my business.
I hope you drown. I'm being really rude and annoying, aren't I?
So have you been here before?
Usually when I come on dates.
Sure, in a second. Everything all right? So how long have you been on your diet for then?
About a week.
Right, okay. Doing well? Or are you doing well at the moment?
I'm doing well at calorie counting. Sorry, I got the giggles. It's all right, we can cut to something.